the time that my dad made me go to school with no bra on, no, nothing. Yeah. Like 7th grade, I was at my dad's this week, so we switched on and off. And this week I was there, and I remember one morning for breakfast, my stepmom had made oatmeal, and at the time I could not do oatmeal. I couldn't do it. It was like a weird like texture thing. It would make me gag every time I ate it. And I wake up and she's like, "Oh, okay, your breakfast is in the kitchen. Go in there and it's oatmeal." And I've already expressed that like I hate oatmeal, like I can't do it. So I sit down. I try to eat it. I'm trying to eat it. I'm literally sitting there and I'm gagging. I'm trying not to throw up. I'm literally like I'm hot, but just like trying to eat this food. Mind you, I literally rolled out of bed and walked straight into the kitchen to eat, because our rule was you had to eat first and then go get dressed. Sitting there, and I'm literally like holding back tears trying to eat this oatmeal. I can't do it. My dad's coming in there every like 10 minutes being like, "You're running out of time. Like, you better eat that oatmeal. You're gonna get in trouble. Like, you're not gonna have time to get ready." And I'm sitting there being like, "Please don't make me eat this." And he's like, "You need to eat your breakfast. Like, come on, let's go." I ended up sitting there for a good 30-45 minutes maybe, and I have not eaten like all this oatmeal. So at this point, my sister's already finished her food, gone to go get ready, and it's about time for us to have to leave. Like, we've got to go to school. So my dad comes in there and he's like, "Come on, like, let's go. Like, we're leaving for school. You need to, like, let's go." Fear in my face, complete fear, because I'm like, I'm not ready to go. I haven't brushed my teeth. I haven't brushed my hair. I don't have makeup on. I don't even have a bra on. What are we doing? And so I'm like, "Dad, no, I have to get dressed. Please let me go get dressed." And he's like, "No, like, you should have ate your food and you should have gotten ready." So immediately I'm like, oh my god. I'm literally going to get made fun of. I'm going to be the laughing stock of my school, because I'm going to go to school with my little prepubescent boobs, and everybody's going to make fun of me. I run into my room, and I'm trying to, like, shove clothes into my backpack so I could, like at least have something to change into. I'm trying to go and brush my teeth. My dad's like, "No, like, we're leaving now. Like, get in the truck. Let's go. I have, like, running shorts on, like, a tank top or something. Like, obviously not in dress code at all whatsoever. I'm like, "Dad, no, like, I'm going to get in trouble if I wear these. Like, I can't wear these shorts." And he's like, "No, like, you should have thought about that. You should have ate your food. Like, let's go." And luckily my stepmom was like, "No, like, she really will get in trouble if she wears that. Like, and you're just going to have to drive back up there and go take her shorts or pick her up." So my dad's like, "Okay, change your pants." So I changed my pants, right? Shoved my bra into my backpack. Pretty sure, I know I shoved my hairbrush in there. I don't remember if I had time to brush my teeth, or if I think I ended up having to brush them at school. In the truck, I don't even remember what outfit I had managed to throw together in my, like, backpack, but I know the shoes did not match. I know those shoes, because they were just, like, tennis shoes I could throw on easily. Really, like, just, like, preparing for the mental anguish that this day is going to be, because I know it's going to be horrendous. Right, it's going to be terrible. The way my middle school was set up was you would get dropped off in the corridor line and you had to walk, and where you would walk to the door to go inside was like the commons area, which is where everybody was eating breakfast. So I want you to imagine little 7th grade me walking in with no bra. I'm having to walk in like this with my backpack full of stuff to like get ready, right? I'm walking in, tears in my eyes, trying to like look normal so nobody looks at me. I wanted to... what like fear frozen face I had on, but one of my friends, Hannah, shout out Hannah, thank you so much, queen, sees me and she comes up to me and she's like, "Hey, are you okay?" And I'm obviously like, "Not okay, like, I'm really not okay, like, this is not okay, like, do I look okay, like, look at me." She takes me to the bathroom. I'm gathering myself, calming down, and as I'm getting ready, I had to get ready in like the cafeteria bathroom. I change in the stall, and there's girls coming in and out of there. So I'm sobbing, crying, trying to get ready, and I just know that they were all judging the hell out of me. I know that they were judging me, but at this point, I really didn't care. I throw my clothes on, and the shirt that I had found was absolutely horrendous with the pants. It was not cute. And mind you, people are wearing makeup in middle school, and I didn't have time. I didn't have time to throw it in my bag, so I just didn't have makeup to wear. So I know I was running around looking like what we would call in the South a ragamuffin, like in 7th grade. Old enough to know how to clothe myself, but I just couldn't. I didn't have time because I had to go to school because I didn't eat my breakfast because it was going to make me throw up if I would have ate it. I was literally sobbing, crying, and Hannah was like, "It's okay. Helping me fix my hair, brush my teeth, put my bra on, get dressed. Like, it was a very rough day. did I learn anything from that? That I didn't like oatmeal for a while. And I think my parents learned that too. And I think I ate cereal for a really, really long time. Cereal or eggs. I didn't eat oatmeal for the longest time. And I still can't eat oatmeal to this day unless there's like a crap ton of sugar in it. Because the texture just throws me off. That was the time I had to go to school with no bra on. And it was great. It was not great. It was actually horrendous. But it's okay because it built my character a little bit. I don't know if I needed my character built any, but it built my character. So I guess that's great, right?
My sister had an affair with my first husband. I raised all of her kids, and all 6 of them, and we no longer talk. So let me give you a story time. I'm going to try to make this quick and try not to jump back and forth the best that I can. My sister is about 10 years older than I am, and she is my half-sister. We were raised by a really good family. I don't know where she got this way of living, but anyways, she was married and she had 3 kids. 3 different fathers. The oldest and the youngest were from somebody else. She had an affair and had the youngest, but the husband stuck around. She was always really selfish, and she never had like a motherly instinct. It was always about her, what she can get, what she can do. It was never like, let's do things as a family. And so she was always that way. She ended up divorcing the first husband and getting married to a second man and having 2 more kids, 2 boys, and essentially abandoning those 3 children. That husband wanted this picture perfect whatever, and that didn't include her other 3 kids, which is wild that she allowed that. And so they would be off doing their own thing and whatnot. During this time, I was going through a divorce. I had married very young to a man who was about 10 years older than me, and very abusive. And I ended up hurting my back around that time. And I had packed up some of my stuff. She had went to my house and helped me get some of my stuff. She was functioning human at this time. And so she helped me get some of my stuff. Lo and behold, she grabbed my purse, and I had some pain pills in there I had hurt my back really bad. She stole my money, she stole my perfume, and she stole all the pain pills. And I didn't find out until like 3 days later when I was like, hey, where's my purse? And she gave it back to me empty. Anyways, so there's that. And then fast forward, she is married, she has these 2 boys, she's never home. I go and I check on the kids all the time, and they're like, mom's never here. The husband had got another house, which is weird, and lived there. My sister had all the kids, all 5 of them at the time, most of the time, but she would go to his house and hang out with him and bring the boys sometimes and stay the night and leave the other kids. So I would take the 3 other kids and take them to my house and have sleepovers and buy them food and do all of that. So anyways, this is continuing. I will go to the house one time, and these 3 children at the house are 9, 13, and 14. And they're like, mom is gone buying Halloween costumes with the husband and the 2 babies. And I call her and I'm like, why isn't your youngest with you? He's 9 years old. And she's like, I didn't think he would be interested in a Halloween costume. And I'm like, what 9-year-old doesn't want a Halloween costume? Like, are you out of your mind? But what it was is she was trying to fit this narrative of what her husband wanted. And so anyways, this crap kind of continued. And then they end up having a falling out. They get a divorce. She starts taking all these pills that she's taking. She's taking the tramadol non-narcotic pain pill, like a fucking 30 or 40 of them a day. How, I don't know. So anyways, she ends up basically running amok on her own. The husband has the 2 younger boys, and her other 3 are just at the house all the time, and I finally had enough. I went over there, I packed all 3 of them up, and I moved them into my house. At this time, I was going through that divorce, and I had a house by myself, and I just moved them in. I raised those children all the way until they graduated high school. They're all in their late 20s, and one is in her early 30s. And so I raised those children. Backtrack a little bit. Before I took those children, about 2 months before them, I had been separated from my husband, and it was my birthday, and I received an email, and it said, happy birthday to my family with benefits. And I open it up, and it is a whole bunch of pictures of my sister and my husband that I'm going through a divorce with. You can imagine what kind of pictures these are. And apparently he had gave her narcotics in exchange for favors. Story time for another time. He was paralyzed, so it didn't work. He paralyzed himself, and it didn't work. So this was solely to get back at me. So anyways, I print these out. I call my dad. I go to her house and I'm like, what the hell is this? And she rolls over and says, I don't want to talk about it. We never talked about it. We never talked about that. My dad, trying to play the middleman, was like, oh, you know, she's your sister, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, she's the one that shouldn't have done it. Who cares about him? Anyways, never talked about it. I grabbed those kids, I raised those kids, that's that. The dad had full custody of those two babies and he went off the deep end. The dad had custody of those kids and he was doing well for a while. She then gets pregnant a 6th time and has this baby. I let her into my home. I help her raise this baby. The baby's about 2 months old and she goes off the deep end again. She is running amok. She's doing all the things. She's leaving me with this baby and ends up getting a boyfriend and going to prison for domestic violence. I don't know all that I can say on this app without getting in trouble. She hurt him. She went to prison for 1.5 years. I had guardianship of that little girl, the little girl that I have now. And she went away for about 1.5 years. The only time she called was to ask for money, ask for packages, or something like that. It was never, how are you doing? I'm sorry, nothing. Very, very self-centered human. And so anyways, she gets out of prison and me being the idiot that I am, let her back into my home. Like, you know, we're gonna rehabilitate you. They're gonna, you know, you're gonna be on parole. You have to walk the line. She doesn't walk the line. Somehow COVID is happening. She gets, no, this was before COVID. Anyways, she gets off parole easy. I don't know how, because she was a first-time offender or something. And so she gets off quick and she's running amok. And I have her daughter. She has no interest in her daughter. And then she has a boyfriend. She gets sober again. And then the father of those two boys has since started using narcotics and drops the kids off with her boyfriend. And again, she is spending the welfare that she's getting for these kids. She's buying herself stuff. These kids don't have any shoes. And my dad called me and my husband and I decided that we were gonna get them. And so we drove to them, picked them up, and they came to us with a trash bag full of clothes. Between the two of them, one of them had a pair of shoes that the sole was literally hanging off. Mind you, she had new shoes, and they had nothing else. They had no belongings. And she has only called once or twice the first year we had him. We were going into the 3rd year, or halfway through the 3rd year, and she's just living her best life because all she cares about is herself.
Guys, don't get married, don't have children. I have a story for you. I was married for 14 years to my best friend in the whole wide world. We toured the country together. I was a drummer, he was a vocalist and guitarist, and we had a great life. Any mutual friends of ours, even here I know there are some, thought we were going to be together forever. Like, he was the humblest, sweetest, kindest man. He's literally given the shirt off his back to homeless people. Like, I loved this man so much. He was so wonderful. Until he changed. And boy, did he change. So fast forward, we're living our best life. It's wonderful. I decide, you know what? It's time to have kids. I'm 30 years old. It's time to have children. I think we were 10, 11 years in to our marriage, and things were going really well. We were stable, and I was like, hey, it's now or never. So we had our first child, my son, and we weren't aware he had autism at all. Like, he wasn't showing really any of the developmental signs or anything. The only thing he showed was standing on his tippy toes. That was the only symptom that we knew of. But we thought maybe he's just quirky, you know. Anyways, my son had some behavioral issues and I didn't even know. I had no idea until later, but now I look back on it. I don't know what neurotypical looks like at this point. I have 2 autistic kids, so I have no idea. Anyways, my husband started getting stressed out, and, you know, understandably, you know, and I was trying to be supportive, etc. And things kind of calmed down. We were settled. We had a home and a bunch of stuff, and decided to have another child. And when I was pregnant with her, that's when everything went downhill. He started treating me really bad, like cussing me out, slamming doors, slamming cabinets, throwing things, throwing stuff at me. And I was like, this can't be happening. I am pregnant. What is going on with you? Like, I pled for him to go to the therapist. I was like, I'll support you in whatever you want to do, as long as you get happy again and become the husband I married again, because who are you? Anyways, one day I was sitting there on my phone because I was dissociating. I was like, oh God, he's coming home. I started developing an anxiety disorder because when he would, close to the time he would come home, all this anxiety would build up, and I'm like, oh God, oh God, oh God. And I didn't know it yet at the time, but I would grab my phone and I'd just disassociate, so I didn't have to think about that he's going to come in and slam doors and throw things and scream and cuss, and it affected my son a lot, and me, of course. And I was pregnant, so it was no bueno for all of us. Anyways, he comes in, he's of course screaming, cussing, slamming doors, saying how horrible his life is, and I'm just like sitting there going, you know, and I've, at this point I'd gained a bunch of weight, and, you know, I'm pregnant, and I'm not feeling like moving much, you know, so I would just disassociate on my phone, and he would yell at me for being on my phone and not spending time with him, and I'm just like, I've been on my feet all day, they're swollen, I hurt, and I just want to relax right now. Anyway, fast forward, my daughter is born, and it's still just as bad. I'm feeding my daughter at the time, and I'm watching my phone because feeding takes a while, you know, if you're doing it the chest way. I don't know if I could say the B word. Anyway, I'm chest feeding her, and I'm on my phone because it takes a while. I'm just like, and he's in a mood, so I'm disassociating again, and he starts screaming at me, and I'm just like, I totally ignore him. I gray rock the shit out of him. I'm just tired at this point. I'm sick of it. I'm over it. Exhausted. So my son's sitting there. He's going, Daddy, Daddy, I want some food, right? And then he looks at me and goes, well, didn't you hear him? And I was like, didn't you hear him? He asked you for food. Like, I'm feeding our daughter right now. And then he says the craziest thing I would never expect. He says, well, if you would just yell at me more and get angry, then I might do what you say. What the? Like, that turned my whole brain upside down. I'm like, so confused. I was like, how can you gaslight me into like being the bad guy in this situation? Like, I am responsible for your own behavior? No. And I straight up told him that I'm not responsible for your behavior. Like, I'm not going to be a different person and scream at you just because you feel like being someone who is negative and screaming. That's not how marriages work. This is not normal. So I basically tell him that, and then he's just like, whatever, and then he leaves, and I'm just like, whoa, that was one of the wake-up calls, and I'm just like, this is a very, very odd behavior. And then one day he's screaming at me, cussing me out, calling me a B word, telling me F you, get out of my life, because I asked him to take the trash out. And I have this on video. Like, I have a lot of stuff on video because he started acting really weird and scary and singing about me and stuff, so I wanted to get it on video in case anything ever happened to me. That's how scary it was. Okay. I think I got video of him barking at a car. I've got video of him throwing the vacuum cleaner, him breaking stuff, screaming, singing about me. Yeah, I've got a bunch of stuff. And I've got video of him eating this big steak dinner, and he's like, F her, I effing hate her, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, you're eating my dinner, bro, that I made out of love for you. And I just want to be in a happy married life. And anyways, after a big fight, it's not even really a fight, it's just me like disassociating him screaming at me, okay? Because I asked him to take the trash out, and I was really kind about it. Anyways, I'm driving to my parents' house because I had to get out of there and get the kids away from him and get myself away from him for a little bit. And my son goes, Daddy hates you, from the back seat. And that was the moment I knew I have to get a divorce. Like, I can't be in this situation anymore. And it's funny because my ex-husband sat me down one day and he was like, I don't think we should be married anymore. And I was like, okay. And he got so mad because I said okay. And I was like, all right, like, you know, if that's what if you don't want to be married to me anymore, I understand, and we don't have to be married. It's okay. Like, I even told him, like, we can stay friends and stuff. Like, it doesn't have to be a big deal. But then after that, he just screamed and then left for like 2 weeks to sleep in his car. And then, yeah, and then he was telling people that I kicked him out when he voluntarily left. Make that make sense. He can't take accountability for crap, though. Yeah, that's what I've learned. Anyways, after that, I went to the police department because things were starting to get out of hand. He was, you know, really scary. And he screamed in my face one day, and I went to the police department, and I was having a panic attack and stuff. And I just went to the cops, and I was like, hey, I need to break up with this man, and I want you on backup, you know. Well, needless to say, he took my daughter hostage, basically. Wouldn't let her go with me. And because he was like irate, he was actually coming at the cop like you know, like this. And that was really scary. I'm like, oh shoot, he's gonna end up getting, you know what I mean? And my whole family was there watching this. And finally he gave up my daughter, and the cop said, go get a restraining order now. So I went, got a restraining order, and he wasn't able to, you know, come back. Oh, also, we were separated for a while, and I was taking care of this man. He wasn't paying rent for months, okay? And we were split up. And he was just laying on the couch all day long for 3 months and not pitching in. So I had to add that. And he was like mentally and emotionally abusing me the entire time. And he hasn't seen his kids now in just about 3.5 years or so. He is also in arrears about $8,000. He hasn't been paying his child support. He had his wages garnished, but he keeps switching jobs to try and get away from paying, or he just can't keep a job. I don't know which one. He's super terrible on phone calls. He does do phone visitation, and a lot of times he would be disrespectful, talk to me through the kids, and just emotionally, mentally abusive. He's very spiritually manipulative. He says he's a shaman and not to cut their hair because it's their power and stuff like this. So there's a lot to it. I mean, I can expand upon that, but I'm running out of time. But yeah, 14 years down the drain, don't get married, don't have kids with these men. They change, okay? Please learn from my mistake, and don't ever, just protect your peace. Don't get with these men. They ain't worth shit. They're not responsible, and they don't hold themselves to account. They're not accountable for anything. They'll just blame you. He still blames me, by the way. He still tells people I kicked him out. That's crazy. Anyway, I hope you all have a good day, and thanks for listening. Bye.
Story time, how my husband cheated on me with our son's teacher. It went on for 3 years, right under my nose, and this is how I found out. My son was in one of those TK to kindergarten to first grade to all the way to fifth grade type of schools. So his kindergarten teacher saw him through TK and to kindergarten, and then first grade. First grade, he had a different teacher. So during these 3 years, my husband tried out like different hobbies and was like, I want to be a real estate agent. I want to do this. He had a constant job. He was an engineer, but he had a constant job. He was always doing what he had to do to provide for our family. And he was really nice to me, always giving me gifts, always being really kind. He was always a really, really good husband, but all his hobbies after work was always changing. Like, I want to go to the gym. I want to be in fitness. I want to go to golfing. I want to do this. And I'm not a toxic person. So I'd be like, okay, do you, boo? Do you? As long as you come home and you ain't cheating and you're not giving me no reason to not trust you. Because when I tell you, like, his phone was clean, like there was nothing on there that would make me think that he was cheating on me. So he was just doing all these things to like revamp his life. Like he felt like he was having a midlife crisis, and I wasn't gonna be the one to be like, no, don't go try to figure yourself out. So okay, boom. So we are at the Ontario Mills. Let me take you to the day that I finally catch him. Shout out to the IE, and I'm with my girlfriend, and we're in the food court, and she's like, isn't that Lewis, which is my husband's name, Lewis right there? And I'm like, that is Lewis with the kindergarten teacher. Okay. All right. So I'm thinking, what am I going to do? Am I going to run up Medea style and be like, what the F, beep, 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 beep? Or am I going to sit here quietly and calculate what the next move is? I decided to sit there quietly and calculate what the next move is. And I was taking pictures, and I was videotaping, and I was in it for the plot because I thought it was comical that this was happening to me. After everything he told me about his ex-wife, I thought, oh my God, I cannot believe this is happening to me. To be clear, though, he was separated from his wife. They were still technically married, but it was a paper that was holding them together. They weren't technically together. They were not together. I mean, she said that they were technically like a couple, like a month before he met me or whatever. But technically, they were not together. Okay, so this is not my karma. At least I don't feel like it is. So I watch them as they go to the car because I'm wanting to know if he's going to kiss her. He doesn't kiss her. He just hugs her. I watch them for 2 weeks, and I catch them going to hotel rooms, and I catch them going out to movies, everything. I have everything recorded, pictures, everything that you could think of. This woman is also married herself, okay? My husband during this time is still so nice to me, still buying me things, flowers, looking for me in the bedroom, kissing me, hugging me, cuddling with me, the best dad ever. And I'm thinking, like, is this life right now? Is this life in 2024? Is this life in 2025? Is this what we're going to be doing? Are we just supposed to be okay with our man cheating? For a couple of days there, I was like, well, he still acts the same. Maybe I should just let him live his life and let him be cheating on me as long as he's paying the bills and treating me right. But then my mom's voice came in my head telling me to not be quote unquote, excuse my language, mamona. So I decided it was time to finally confront my husband. So one day when he got out of work, I had it on the TVs, I had it all over the walls, and I confronted him, and he said, how long have you known? I said 2 weeks. And he said, it means nothing, I don't love her. And I'm like, it's been going on for how long, Louis? And he's like, it's been going on for on and off 3 years. I'm so sorry. It began as something just like because I just felt like I was going through a midlife crisis and I wanted to feel, and she was bored and this and that. And then that's when I was like, let's go tell her husband. He begged me not to, so did she, because it was like a scene out of Empire. When I confronted her, she was giving me like she you know, that boo boo kitty stuff. Yeah. I went to go tell her husband, and me and her husband sat down, and we both decided that we were going to forgive our spouses, because we both said, okay, you know, they both don't want to be with each other, they want to be with us, you know, let me know if she tries to talk to him, blah 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 blah. That's it. For 1 whole year we didn't worry about nothing, and then their affair started back up, and her husband came to tell me, and I was done, and I left my husband for good, and I got my divorce, and I started a new life with the girl's husband. Yeah, the one that she divorced. Yeah, we got together now. And now we're in a relationship. And we're happier than ever. So, I mean, is it a plot twist? Or is it one of those when life gives you lemonade? I know people judge me. But as long as we're happy, right? As long as we're loved, we're happy, the kids are happy, there's no bad blood. Me and my ex are fine. Me and my husband's ex-wife are fine. We actually all really get along. People think it's weird. But I thought I just wanted to tell my story. Because you just never know. Don't let your husband keep you from finding your real husband.
My best friend of 5 years just stabbed me in the back and got with my ex. And she thought I wouldn't find out, but I did. So let's do a story time. Her and I have been best friends off and on. I say off and on because she's always done things that just don't add up. But for these past 2 years, we've been solid. Like, I see her almost every single day, and when we don't see each other, we're always FaceTiming. This just happened, so I'm still freaking out. When I was with my ex, she would always insist on us three hanging out. Like, me and her couldn't hang out alone anymore. She'd always want him to come. And her excuse was, oh, because I want to get to know him and I need to make sure I like who you're with. After the first day that she actually met him, I forgot about this. She went and followed his Instagram, and she didn't even tell me that she was going to follow my boyfriend at the time. Like, she just went ahead and followed him. But why did she only like one picture? A picture of him from 2 years ago. Just of him. So I screenshotted it and sent it to her and just asked her, hey, like, why? Her excuse was, oh my gosh, you know, I was stalking his page late last night to make sure like there was no girls. I was just trying to be a good friend to you, and I must have accidentally liked his selfie. I'm little delusional over here, and I believed her because she was my best friend. Oh, trust me, it's about to get way worse. I would always go to my job at a certain time. Like, my schedule has always been the same since I started there, and my boyfriend at the time would always bring me lunch. He told me he was craving Chipotle and he was gonna bring me Chipotle. He would always show up at the exact time I'd clock out for my lunch, but for some reason that day he was running a little late, and this is where I put pieces together. Him and I would share locations with each other, so I was easily just able to see where he was, but I also shared my locations with my best friend. It was at the same Chipotle that he was going to. So instead of watching his location, I just started watching hers. I saw her location slowly start moving towards my job. So I thought, delusional again, that they're coming to surprise me. Like, he came with her to surprise me. Until I saw her location stop down the street from my job. When my boyfriend showed up without her, I asked him, what were you guys doing together? I know you guys were together. He told me he had no idea what I was talking about and he had not seen her. So he denied it, so I went and asked her. And her story, same thing. I was not with him. I don't know what you're talking about. It's just a coincidence. She claimed that she didn't want to be in our drama and she's just going to turn her locations off permanently with me. I'm not even going to talk about him and I, but just know that we split on bad terms. But of course, when we split up, my best friend was so there for me, so supportive, and was telling me how he was trash and I didn't deserve him, and she knew all along. So how did I figure out that they've been secretly like with each other? Her and I had plans, but then she told me that she had to cancel because her family's beach house was going to be open and no one was Airbnb-ing it. And she said that they were going to go. Normally, when she'd go to her beach house though, I'd always get invited. And this time she insisted that it's just strictly family. So I decided I'll just take myself to Target and have like a self-care pampering night. And when I was at Target, I heard my name being called from somebody behind me. It was her mom and little brother. Then she asked me, wait, why aren't you at the beach house with my best friend? Then I flipped Uno reverse. Well, why aren't you at the beach house with my best friend? When I tell you guys how bad my stomach dropped, then her mom says, well, I know she's there because the Ring doorbell keeps like sending me notifications. When you get a gut feeling, you just know. So I asked her, pull that up right now. And sure enough, there they were.
Story time about how one of my male-centered friends lost everything she had behind a man. Just a little bit of background information. When we first became friends, I knew that she was male-centered, but it wasn't to the point where I felt like I had to stop being friends with her. You know how we all have friends who kind of just do dumb stuff when it comes to men? That's how I thought that she was. She also was a very big user of dating apps, and she would always meet men on dating apps and invite them back to her home where she lived alone. And to me, I always thought like, girl, are you crazy? Like, that's not okay. So fast forward, we decide to go to an R&B concert that's at the State Farm Arena. After the concert, we decide to go from the arena to Midtown to have late night happy hour at STK. Everything's good at STK. We're eating, kikiing, having a fine time. I get up and I go to the bathroom, right? So I come back from the bathroom and she like, girl, why this man come up to me and start having a conversation with me? Girl, he was tall. He was 6'7". I said, well, oh, okay. I said, well, where is he, right? She said, oh, he was just getting carry out. I was like, dang, I missed him. I said, did you get his information? Did you get his number or anything? She like, nah, girl, we just was having a quick conversation. So I'm like, okay, well, whatever. So we continue to eat and finish up the rest of the night, right? Now, please keep this in mind for the story. I drove to her house, but she lives in Lawrenceville. I parked my car there. We Ubered from her house to State Farm Arena for the concert because we didn't want to deal with parking and all of that. After the concert, the plan was for us to go back to her house and kind of have like a slumber party. So just chill, watch movies, talk, whatever. So we finish eating, and once we finish up, we walk outside of SCK to catch our Uber, and 6'7", we gonna call him 6'7", 6'7" and his friend are outside. Now, the way that she had explained this encounter, I'm expecting to see some Adonis, y'all. I'm expecting to see this tall, just real good-looking man, right? When I seen him, I was like, now he was in fact tall. Was he 6'7"? I don't know. When I seen him, girl, straight, I'm sorry, but he looks like a bum. He had on basketball shorts, like flip-flops, and a t-shirt. He didn't have no haircut. I'm like, this the man that you're talking about right now? So when I see him, I'm not impressed at all, right? But at that point, they see each other. He walks up to my friend and is kind of making small talk. Because mind you, we're waiting for our Uber. Or we hadn't ordered our Uber yet, but we were in the process of ordering our Uber. So 6'7" is with a friend, right? And so I'm kind of looking like, I said hi, of course, but I'm kind of looking like... So she's sitting here having conversation, like small talk with this man. And so while I'm waiting, I asked a friend to come snap some pictures of me in front of the STK sign. So he does that. He took some pictures of me, and then we had like little small talk conversation. By the time that happened, our Uber showed up for us to go back to her house. So now our Uber is here, and at this point, I guess my friend is 6'7", have exchanged numbers or social media or whatever. I say bye. We hop in the car. We going back to her house. Remember, I told you that we were in Midtown at STK. She lived in Lawrenceville, which is a good 40-minute drive. So we make it back to her house. And remember, I told you that the plan was for us, I'm thinking the plan is for us to have a sleepover, kiki, watch movies, do whatever. And then I'll leave the next day. When we get back to her house, she tells me, oh yeah, I invited 6'7" and his friend back over here. I said, I'm sorry, what? You did what? Why? She like, oh, we're not going to be doing nothing really, you know what I'm saying? I just want to talk to them more, and we're not doing nothing else, so we might as well invite them over. First of all, we don't know these men from Adam. And while they did not look like threatening men, it's still extremely dangerous. Why would you invite men over that you don't even know to your home? You know what I'm saying? So me, I'm irritated about it, but I'm like, they didn't seem like they was super threatening. And me, I got my pew-pew, so I'm like, even if they try something, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, nuck if you buck, for real. So they come over, it's cool, it's chill, whatever. We end up playing Uno, right? Sitting at the table. And so we play a few games of Uno, and then we kind of break off into having our separate conversations. I'm talking to the friend about his job because he had a very intriguing, interesting job. So we start having a conversation about that, and then I notice that my friend and 6'7" are no longer sitting at the table. So after talking to his friend, I'm like, wait a minute, let me go see where they at, just to make sure, like, ain't no funny business going on. So I go upstairs, y'all. Why are they both in her bed? He's in her bed with his outside clothes on, talking about, oh yeah, I'm just up here rubbing her feet, you know, giving her a massage and stuff. I'm like, you got him in the bed with his outside clothes on, and y'all just up here having a whole little good time, and you got him massaging her feet like you don't even know this guy. What are you doing? So at this point, it's gotta be about 1:30. So I'm like, well, I'm about to wrap it up. I'm about to put my pajamas on and probably get in the bed. So yeah. So she like, yeah, it's time to wrap it up. And so I head back downstairs, and they follow me back downstairs to tell 6'7" and his friend goodnight. So we wrap everything up. We tell them goodnight. They leave, and we both go to bed. The next day we have breakfast, and we're kind of just recapping everything and just chit-chatting, right? And so I'm like, ask her, I'm like, so did you like him, or were you feeling him? Are you interested in him? She like, girl, no. She like, girl, I am going to block him. I don't like him at all. He is not my type. No. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, yeah, I figured that he wouldn't be your type, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, cool, right? Never spoke nothing else of them. So fast forward a few months later, me and her go and we have dinner just to catch up and chit-chat. So I bring it up like, oh yeah, have you talked to those guys from that night at the concert? She like, girl, no. She like, I blocked them and never talked to him. I was like, oh, okay, bet. I'm thinking I'm never gonna hear about them again. It's gonna get good, y'all. I promise. Please just stick through this with me.
Story time on how I accidentally found out that my ex-best friend's boyfriend was cheating on her and how she ended up making it my fault. Okay, so this went down like kind of the end of our friendship. And so basically I was hanging out with a different friend group because she couldn't get along with the friend group that I was hanging out So me and my other friends were hanging out at this like outdoor strip mall, and we decided that we wanted to go get dinner. And I'm telling you, there's literally a ton of restaurants on this strip. And we decided to go to like this relatively popular Mexican restaurant. And literally like our host gets us, we sit down, we get seated in a booth that's like against the wall. And everything's normal at first, and we're just like all talking, we order our drinks, we order our food. And I'm telling you, after I order my food, our waiter goes to like a table in the corner, and I literally just turn and get a glimpse. And I'm telling you, I literally stop in my tracks like this. And I look back, and I look, and I'm like, guys, is that literally Kaylee's boyfriend's doppelganger? Like, look at that over there. And my friends were like, no, that's definitely her boyfriend. And he was out to dinner with another girl. And I'm like, how out of all restaurants, all days, does he end up here while I'm here? So immediately, as one best friend does, I whip my phone out and start taking video. And I take a picture, and I send it to her, and I'm like, girl, WTF? Like, what the actual heck is going on? Like, is this him? And she was like, there's no way that's him, because I literally just checked his location, and his location's at his grandma's house, and da 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 da. And I'm like, girl, pausing location exists. And I'm like, don't be fooled. Like, literally, there's no way that that's not him. So what I decided to do, my friend starts recording, and I yell his name. I'm like, that. And I'm not looking at him, and like, he kind of looks over. And he looks over when we yell his name, so it's definitely him. And I think he ends up seeing me, and I think he realizes that he's absolutely, like, done for. So I kind of ignore that for the rest of the night, and I'll deal with that, like, when I get home, and I'll, like, FaceTime her, and we can talk about that later. And I guess she's, like, blowing up my phone, asking me, like, are you talking to him? Are you talking to him? I'm like, no, I'm not talking to him, girl. I just took a picture and let you know. And then she starts talking about how I'm weird for that, weird for taking pictures of him, how I'm weird for, like, yelling his name. And I'm just like, girl, at least I let you know. Like, I totally 110% could have not let you know at all. So I end up getting home, and the night was super fun because I wasn't gonna let her ruin the night like all the other nights that she's ruined. So I get on the phone, she calls me, and I get on the phone with her, and she talks about like how like she's sorry that she reacted that way, and she's thankful that I told her, which was so useless, and I embarrassed myself for no reason because like she literally ended up getting back with him anyway. And like kind of at that point I was just so over the whole friendship thing, because I'm like, girl, I literally bend my back to be loyal for you, but you would not do the same for me.
This is how my dad caught me and my boyfriend together in the bathroom. Of all places, the bathroom. When I was in high school, I had this boyfriend, and we dated from our sophomore year of high school to our senior year of high school. Obviously, we're no longer together, and this is my ex-boyfriend that I'm talking about. Because my parents were so strict, they didn't want us to have any alone time ever, period. Like, we weren't allowed at his house, we weren't allowed to be over here. We always had to be out doing something, and they always wanted someone to be with us, which was annoying. As teenagers, of course, we wanted more time together, and so that got to the point of us either sneaking him over when my parents weren't here for some alone time, or his mom would eventually lie to my parents and be like, yeah, we have a family event going on, just so that I could come over for a little bit, because even she saw how bad it was. On this day in particular, we were 16 years old, and it was 4th of July. Why do I remember it was 4th of July? Well, because 4th of July is one of my favorite holidays, and he was going to spend the day with our family. My mom had left to run an errand, and my dad didn't live with us, so I was like, okay, we're safe if you want to come over. So he came over, and he parked his car down the block because we had a mutual friend that lived on the same block as us, and he would go over to his house sometime. So we were like, okay, on the off chance that my mom comes back, you can just go out the window, which he had done 2 times before, and run down to that friend's house and say that you were hanging out there. So he comes over, and I am in the bathroom doing my makeup just like this, doing my hair, getting ready for the day. All we wanted to do was say hi before the day started, I guess. Like, we weren't up to anything bad, we just occasionally wanted a moment to ourselves. So he's sitting in the bathroom with me while I'm getting ready. I'm on like the last 2 steps of my makeup when, lo and behold, the front door bursts open, and we're like, what is going on? My mom is not supposed to be home yet. Spoiler alert, it wasn't my mom, it was my dad. And so me being like, how the heck do I keep him out of the bathroom? I slam the door and I'm like, I'm taking a shower. I run over and I turn the shower on. Me and my ex-boyfriend stare at each other like this. Like, what the hell do we do? My dad was not a dumb man. I knew that there was like a 50-50 chance that he had seen my ex-boyfriend's car when he drove down the street, because he was knocking on the door, asking me what I was doing. And I was like, I'm showering, I'm showering. If it wasn't obvious, there's not like a window in my bathroom where we could have snuck my ex-boyfriend out of. Like, we were fully trapped in the bathroom. There was no way that he could have gotten out. And so me being like, oh, I'm so smart, I'm like, I'm gonna call my mom and say that I'm having an allergic reaction and I need Zyrtec, because I was having bad seasonal allergies at the time. I don't know why. So I call her and I'm like, hey, I need you to have my dad go to the store and get me Zyrtec. I'm having an allergic reaction. Like, he needs to go now. Please send him to Walmart, because we have a Walmart that's literally like less than a mile away from our house. On the phone, she's like, okay, I'll send him. Little did I know they had already been communicating. So I finished talking to my mom, and then I text my dad the same thing. I'm like, I'm in the shower right now. I'm having such bad allergies. I can't breathe. Please go to the store and get me Zyrtec. me and ex-boyfriend look at each other and we wait like 2 minutes and we're like, okay, obviously we need to see if the coast is clear, but we're not just going to burst out of the bathroom. We need to make it look realistic in case he is still sitting there, because our bathroom leads right out into our kitchen and our living room. So like that's where my dad would be, and we couldn't get past if he was still there. So we were like, okay, we told my dad that I was in the shower. I need to make it look like I was in the shower in case I like pop my head out and he's still sitting there. He's going to be like, why has the shower been on for like 10 minutes and you're fully dressed? You know what I mean? Like he would just think that we were up to something bad. So I was in this big sleeve shirt and I pull the sleeves off of my shoulders and like tie them around my front, and I wrap my towel around myself. And our linen closet is right next to our bathroom. So I was like, okay, I devised this little plan. I'll just pop out, grab a face rag from our linen closet and tell him that I forgot a face rag while I was in the shower and that I'm like not washing my hair because my hair wasn't wet. So I do all this. I stick my head out of the bathroom door. I grab a rag. I look behind myself and I see him, hands crossed, sitting at the kitchen table. He gets up. He runs towards me. I slam the bathroom door. He sticks his boot in front of it. I slam it anyway. I lock that thing. I'm like, get out. I'm showering. I'm naked. I wasn't, but I'm yelling that. At this point, I am leaned up against the bathroom door, using my body weight to keep it closed. Me and my ex-boyfriend look at each other. We're like, what the F are we gonna do? The shower is still running. And so I step away from the bathroom door and I'm like, okay, we gotta figure this out. At this point, we are doing everything in our power to figure out a way where we could hide my ex-boyfriend. So I am like clearing stuff out of the bathroom cabinets and trying to make him squeeze in. It didn't work. He was way too big. We are trying to make him hide in the shower, but the shower is wet because it's been running for like the past 15 minutes. We're like, well, maybe you could just lay down in the bath and he wouldn't notice you. Obviously, he's gonna notice. Like, he knows something is up if he didn't leave and go get the allergy pills. We were terrified. We leave the shower running for probably 5 more minutes. We shut it off. I turn the blow dryer on. There's nothing to blow dry because I was never in the shower, but I'm holding it there as we're staring at each other, not even having a conversation, just in fear because we don't know what the heck to do. Finally, we shut the blow dryer off. We have, at this point, come to the conclusion that there is nothing we can do. There is no getting out of this. My dad is not going to leave. He has been waiting his whole entire life for this moment. And so we look at each other and we're like, should we just tell him? And he's like, yeah. And so the blow dryer comes off, and very, very gingerly, I say, I have to tell you something. And my dad goes, okay, come on out. My ex grabs his keys from where they were sitting on the bathroom counter, and we walk out looking more scared than we ever have before, in a single file line. We line up in front of my dad and we try to explain to him that my ex-boyfriend literally only came over to say hi to me while I was doing my makeup, and we were not up to anything bad. He, of course, does not believe us. He launches into the talk and gives us this whole long lecture about it and how he and my mom don't want us spending any time alone together at 16 years old. We again assure him that we were not up to anything like that, because we weren't. Like, I swear, 6 years later, we weren't. But he insists that he heard my ex-boyfriend's belt scraping against the ground, like assuming that his pants had been off. And the sound that he heard was literally him picking up his lanyard of keys off of the kitchen counter, and it made like, or the bathroom counter, and it made like a scraping sound, and he thought that it was his belt off the floor, and so he was convinced, this man was convinced. After that, my ex-boyfriend does the walk of shame back to his car. He's very sad, very dejected, very embarrassed, and so am I. And then my dad spends the next like 30 minutes gloating over me about how I wasn't smarter than him and how he knew that he was in there the whole time, which, like, to be fair, it was kind of obvious, but whatever. Safe to say, my ex-boyfriend did not spend that 4th of July with us. My dad and I went and did our plans that we were all going to do together by ourselves. I was also really lucky that that happened on 4th of July because it kind of distracted my family from everything that had happened, and we didn't bring it up again.